And joining us now is Simon McGee, a former press secretary to Boris Johnson when he was foreign secretary, now the managing director at communications consultancy Hawkwood Strategy. Simon, it's good to see you. Are you surprised by this turn of events, especially, considering his extraordinary popularity 3 years ago when he had a big election victory? This is a surprising turn of events, but not because of the recent troubles.
Well, it is extraordinary, and to be halfway through a 5-year term, having won the largest Conservative majority for his party in 2019 since Margaret Thatcher in 1987, is in itself quite extraordinary that this has come to pass. I mean, obviously, he has been the biggest beast in British politics since 2016, since the Brexit vote then, which he won. He then became Prime Minister 3 years later, and he has dictated British politics, and you could say European politics, like no other British political figure in that time. And that has all come crashing down, not by losing a general election to the opposition, but by being taken out by his own team.
And was there anything he could have done? He certainly was not contrite in his departure. Anything he could have done to save himself?
Well, if you look at the reasons given why so many of his own ministers and MPs turned against him in the last 48 hours, you will see repeated disappointment from people who put their own credibility on the line to defend scandals, unforced errors that actually the Prime Minister was either party to or had instigated, directly or indirectly. So you have this sort of this element of a parliamentary party that has gone through with regicide when it didn't really want to. Could he have avoided that? Well, you could argue in hindsight, of course, he could have avoided that. He could have tried to avoid that by being perhaps more diligent on matters of propriety. He possibly could have avoided that by taking measures within Downing Street to ensure that the rules that were followed across the rest of the country, the rules on not gathering to have social parties and other events, were followed in his own house. Those are ways he could have avoided it. But let's not forget as well that this isn't all down to Boris Johnson's character and his flaws or otherwise. There is also a huge leadership element to this. There are big beasts in the party. There is a big prize, which is 2.5 years of a large government majority. And so some people are acting on principle, and I'm sure some people are acting on principle and perhaps a little something else.
And in terms of the stability of the country, the economy, and its foreign policy, what do you see coming up next?
I don't think there will be certainly overnight a very large shift in policy, certainly not internationally. Britain, I think, will remain as committed under a different Conservative leader, whoever he or she might be, as Boris Johnson has been to supporting and arming Ukraine, for example. And I think in terms of the economy, I think the world is having to deal with inflation, shortages, and the repercussions of 2 years of COVID. So everyone is dealing with these hardships. I don't sense there'll be certainly immediately any change for any of our partners, including the United States, to be concerned about.
And do you see that Russia might see this as an opening of the weakening of the Western alliance against Russia when it comes to Ukraine?
Well, I can't see into the minds of the folk in the Russian Foreign Ministry. I mean, they, as you know, Andrea, they're not the most serious or always truthful of commentators and spokespeople. I mean, they will wish to make some mischief out of this. They will wish to suggest that that there is Western disunity. I think, if anything, the recent G7 heads of government and NATO heads of government meetings showed actually a huge degree of unity internationally. And whether Boris Johnson is Prime Minister of the UK today, tomorrow, or next year, I don't think will change that.
Simon McGee, a very big day in British politics, so thanks very much. It's an historic occasion, certainly.
Pleasure.
Thank you.